AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplett. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We'll talk to Chris Doering of the SEC Network at the bottom of this hour. CD's been pretty high on LSU in this offseason, so we'll ask him why. And we will be joined by Jake Madison in hour number 3. Pell's inching closer, it seems, to maybe identifying their next head coach. We'll do all that coming up here. But it's always our pleasure when we have a chance to spend a couple of minutes talking to Coach Pete Jenkins. And, you know, the Louisiana Linemen Camp is right around the bend as the weather starts to warm up. And Coach Pete joins us here. Coach Pete, it's always a pleasure. How are you?
I'm doing great, Matt. Thank you.
Man, we always appreciate the time. Let's start with Linemen Camp to remind people who maybe have kids in high school that play offensive or defensive line, what it is that you all do every summer.
Well, as you know, because you're a veteran of the camp, it's for offensive and defensive linemen and linebackers. Okay? And it is, man, I would describe it as a technique, work-oriented camp, no recruiting, no testing, or no real competition in the camp. It's more about teaching technique, teaching how to. And our goal, I just wrote it on a film a few minutes ago. Our goal as coaches in this camp is to help you become a better football player. So it's really work. You went through it. You know, it's work oriented, and we take a lot of pride in it. We feel like we're helpful to young men. And the other thing, we don't impose it all on the high school coach in that we don't teach a lot of scheme. You know, it's not scheme, it's fundamentals. On defense, you know, the things that we talk about are your eyes, your hands, your footwork, and the explosion of your hips, legs, and lower back. And that's where we put our emphasis. So it's at home. The skills that we teach are at home in any scheme that a young man is involved in. So, I take a lot of pride in it, Matt.
Coach, I learned how to kick slide at that camp. I'll tell you that much.
I bet.
I worked on that a lot, man. It was a coach from St. Martinville, man, who was handling us on the kick slide drills. He was great, man. I can't remember the coach's name, but he was awesome. And you've got a heck of a faculty there as well. Maybe can you tell us a little bit about who all works the camp to work with the young men?
Yeah. You know, I don't know exactly, Matt, how all this got started. So at one time we had high school coaches and really good high school coaches, a lot of them from the area, a lot of guys from New Orleans. And then we had college coaches. Well, the NCAA, in their wisdom, they declared that the college coaches couldn't work anymore. So I actually missed 2 years myself that I wasn't able to work it. Haven't gotten over that yet. But they decided no college coaches, and I don't know why that would be. So I don't know. I guess it was my time in the NFL that I got to know people and make friends. And we normally have anywhere from 12 to 14 NFL defensive line coaches. And that is remarkable. And I'm telling you now, I don't recruit them that. They call me. I got a boy this year. He was an outside backer coach at Georgia. And as you know, they are a school that I work every year. I have been for years, since Kirby's second year. And I got to know him at Georgia, really nice young man. He gets a job at the Cowboys as a defensive end coach at the Cowboys. So he calls me, Matt, and he says, Coach, I'm now in pro football. I really want to work that camp. And I said, well, listen, you need to understand this first. It's not kissing babies and signing autographs. It's work now. We're on the field 6 hours a day and then a meeting from 9 to 10 at night. I said, I want you to understand that before. I'd love to have you, but I want you to understand that. And he said, well, when I was a graduate assistant years ago at Colorado, he said, I came down there and watched that camp. And I've been wanting to work in that camp ever since. So, we get some pro guys. They come from different places, and most of them I have some kind of background with them. But, we're very fortunate to have those guys. I mean, they come down there and they do a really good job. So we have high school coaches and we have pro coaches, where at one time, probably when you were there, we had high school coaches and college coaches, but now we've got some NFL guys that come every year and really enjoy it.
Coach Pete Jenkins is our guest. Louisiana Line Camp's coming up in about a month, a little more than a month, in early June, down at Nichols in Thibodaux. You can register at LouisianaLineCamp.com, LouisianaLineCamp.com. Coach Pete, is it? I know entire teams can go as well. Is there a?
Oh yeah. A lot of people bring their offensive lines, defensive lines. A lot of schools do that. We have quite a few. I'll tell you an experience I had, Matt, that sticks with me. I'll never forget it. I mean, it made such an impact on me. I went to the state. I was coaching at LSU, I think, at the time. I went to the state championship games in the Dome, and I walk in. I'm up on the second level, and I walk in, and directly across, someone had hung a sheet. They on the second level also. They had hung a sheet across the guardrail there. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. And it said on the sheet, it was written, it said, the trip to the Dome started in Thibodaux.
I love that.
And it was Brother Martin. It was the Brother Martin. Brother Martin was playing in the state championships. And it struck me. I was so proud. I wish I don't think I had a cell phone at that time, but I wish I had a picture of it, because I'm telling you, it really struck me. I almost teared up. It was so. Here's what it said: the road to the Dome started in Thibodaux.
Love that.
And so, yeah, me too. But we have a lot of guys, and we keep the teams together. If they're own teams, that we keep them together and put them in groups where they can work together. We'll have like Catholic High, we'll have old Catholic High guys and young Catholic High guys, and we try to keep those, where they're working with the upperclassmen and the lowerclassmen are working together. But yeah, we have a lot of that, man. You also get a lot of team building during that too, Coach Pete. I mean, I can remember. We stayed in the dorms there at Nichols, and it was a few days of being with your teammates and your classmates, and it was great. He's right. I mean, it was a great bonding experience, and the season sort of started for the offensive and defensive line at Line Camp. I think it's so hard that you bond. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's one really good high school in Louisiana, and I understand the kids call it Hell Camp, but they come back every year. So it really is designed for, and I think the kids that enjoy it the most are the guys that really, really are serious about their ball and they want to get better. I've had a couple of letters, Matt, from young kids that said, had I not come to camp, I don't know if I'd ever started in high school and whatever, and that's what it was all about. Actually, the guys, Jesse Daigle Sr., not
Sure.
Jesse Jr.,
Sure.
Jesse Daigle Sr., and Kenny Farrow and I were all working at LSU. I'm coaching on defense. Kenny and Jesse are on offense. So really, I think it was Jesse's idea about the camp because everybody had camps. Kickers had camps. Passers had camps. They were all over the place. And Jesse said, why don't we start a line camp? Because Kenny was the offensive line coach, and I coached on defense. And Jesse actually was a running backs coach. He became the business manager. And I look back on it and I think, oh, man, what a business manager we had. Anyways, he was a great guy. And we had so much fun with it. The first year we had 46 campers. And I told Jesse, I said, Jesse, I'm not doing this again. I said, I borrowed the money to invest in this thing. I lost all that money. I worked my brains out for a week. And then I had to give up a week of my vacation, which I really needed, to be honest with you. But I had to give up a week of the vacation to do this camp. I'm not doing it again. Well, they kept talking to me about it one more time. Try it one more time. And it more than doubled the next year. So I've seen it grow from the hundreds to the 200s to the 300s, 400s, 5, 6. We've been at 7 about 3 or 4 years, and it'll be 8 this year.
That's amazing.
We've got 800 beds, and we have to turn kids away sometimes. But boy, I hate that too, But we only have Nichols only can provide us with 800 beds.
Okay.
So when we get to that place, it's we have people on waiting list, and sometimes people will drop out and things like that. But it's grown. It's just been unbelievable, the growth of the camp. And as you know, we don't do a lot of advertising. You're kind enough once a year to help us with it. We don't do a lot of. I think it's the product. I think it's the product that sells. I'm telling you, there's so much dedication. That defensive group that I have down there, there's so much dedication. You could cut it with a knife.
Yeah.
And especially those pro coaches, they'll come down there, Matt, and the first thing they'll talk to me after camp is, these kids are amazing. Because it really has a different feel about it. It really has a different, it's not a recruiting camp. And I worked in a lot. I'm not being critical of recruiting camp.
Sure.
But that's what it's. Our message is not that. Ours is, we want to help you improve as a player. And they are so shot with the kids that come down there, how hard they work, how much they put into it. And I tell them, I said, especially the kids from Louisiana, football's important in our state.
Yeah.
And I think, kids come down there with I think really our reputation precedes us, and a lot of kids would choose probably not to come, which is fine because that's not the ones we want, to be honest with you.
That's
we want people to come down there and work their tail off.
Well, Coach Pete, let me knock out a quick break. You're kind enough to give us another segment because I do want to ask you about your impressions of Lane Kiffin, who I know you know, and then also want to ask you about Kevin Peoples, who is switching positions from coaching the edge to the defensive tackles. I want to pick your brain on that. We'll continue with Coach Pete Jenkins here next. Stay with us. It's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about Rev. I'm a Rev customer at the Moscona household. We're Rev customers. At Parrish Construction and Roofing, we're Rev customers. Here at Guarantee Media, we're Rev customers. And I got to tell you about Rev Fiber. So Rev Fiber is faster, more reliable internet. Who doesn't want that? Speeds up to 5 gigs. And remember, we're talking about fiber, so it's buried. The cables are buried. The Wi-Fi equipment is included at no additional cost. Sound good? No long-term contracts required. You're not going to get these unexpected price increases after your promotion period ends. The price is the price. That's what it is at Rev. 100% local service and support. You're never routed to an overseas call center with Rev. So for your business, for your home, you want Rev Fiber. Log on to learn more and get that quote at revfiber.com. R-E-V. Revfiber.com. Revfiber.com. River Parish contractors would love to pay you overtime. Now, how many places can say that? Look, a lot of great businesses, a lot of great contractors, industrial contractors. Some of them want you to work. They don't want to pay you overtime. Not River Parish contractors. Come on. They got overtime. Work as much overtime as you want. I'm going to give you the number to call Big Jake here in just a quick second. A-class pipe fitters, pipe welders, pipe tackers, pipe cutters. They want to talk to you. They have an immediate need at River Parish Contractors. Hey, look, you want to work day shift? Great. You want to work night shift when it's cooler? Awesome. You want to work at any of their job sites from Baton Rouge to Chalmette, points in between, the shop right there with no rainouts in reserve? River Parish Contractors. Call Big Jake, y'all. 318-547-1000. 318-547-1000.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She's the only one who really understands.
Yeah, we always appreciate Coach Pete Jenkins for giving us some of his time. Louisiana Line Camp coming up less than a month. Make sure you get registered for your camper, your entire team over at LouisianaLineCamp.com. LouisianaLineCamp.com. Just spell it out. That's where you can get it, LouisianaLineCamp.com. Coach Pete, while we had you, I did want to ask you a little bit about this LSU season. I know all the years that you went and worked with Coach Saban at Alabama. You had to run across Coach Lane Kiffin. I'd love your thoughts, because I don't think we've talked to you since Coach Kiffin was hired, at least not on the show. I'd love your thoughts on Coach Kiffin coming to LSU and what you think of him as an offensive coach and as a head coach.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so my first knowledge and everything, I'd heard of him. I heard his name. But you remember when he was fired at Southern Cal?
I do. Oh, you went and joined Coach Ogeron's interim staff. I remember that now. Yep.
He was going out the back door, and I was coming in the front. Okay. So that's the first time I really was around him, and was personally exposed to him, and then when he was at Alabama, I guess would be next. When he was working for Coach Saban over at Alabama, I would be over there, So I was around him some then. I was in the staff meetings where he was and things like that. So, but I was on defense, and I worked on one hallway and he worked on another hallway. Then what comes to mind also, Matt, in 2016, we played Alabama in Tiger Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where you remember that game right off,
I do.
But you will.
It was 10-0. I remember it well.
Yeah, it was 10-0, but it was like 50 minutes of nothing.
I remember.
Remember? And we had Dave Aranda, who was our coordinator at that time. And let me tell you, it was, I had, it wasn't my first rodeo. I'd been around a long time by that time. But I had the headphones on, and I could, I was in contact with Dave. And something, Matt, it was an amazing game. Because Dave Aranda is one of the smartest coordinators I've ever been around at any level. And Kiffin would throw a punt and Dave would counter. And I'm telling you, it was so damn interesting. They both were so good at what they did. But we really did a good job with them, and they were good. They had a really good offense. But I have always felt like that he was an excellent play caller. Some people just get in that zone, and they can project themselves into the game and whatever. And I've always felt that he was really a good play caller. I thought several years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, he was too much into the analytics, because I saw it cost him a game against Alabama one day because he listened to the analytics. But as I've watched him over the last few years, I think he's really grown. And he was good. I won't say he wasn't good. He was really good. But I think he's even grown into a better play caller, and he just has a feel for the game. Bobby Bowden, people like that had such a feel for the game, calling the game, and feeling the ebb and flow of the game. I think he does that. I really do. And to be honest with you, I think he's probably the best modern coach out there today. And by that I mean this, and you know me for a long time. Okay, so I'm old, and relationships, values of the game, all those things are really important to me, And I don't know that that's the way to be today. You're the one who told me that Coach Saban had resigned. I was actually talking with you the day that you told me Coach Saban just resigned. I don't know where you.
I remember.
Remember? Yeah. But I saw Coach Saban, who was so different than so many people think. I mean, the guy was so committed to his players, and he was so committed to the cause. He believed in the game of football so much. He believed in doing it right. And he believed in his commitment to them and their commitment to him in Alabama. I don't know that that's the way to go today, because I've been in 2 universities this year their rooms were loaded with expensive NIL guys. And there are 2 universities that I have worked for a long time. And I felt different, Matt, in the room this year than I have at any other time. I didn't feel that the loyalty to the university as much as I wanted to stand up one time and say, look, I've had over 40 guys to sign NFL contracts. Ain't none of you guys in here signed one yet. So, if I was you, I'd pay attention to me. I just felt it was a really different feeling. I didn't enjoy it nearly as much. I had one experience over at Auburn. They had a kid over there, number 47. I can't think of that boy's name right now. I'll try to think of it as we talk. But I worked over there, and his brother was a good, undersized defensive lineman. The boy played good, though. He was an effective college player. We wound up in pro prospect, but he did play good for him. Now, this kid that I'm talking about, number 47, he played very good last year on a good Auburn defense. Now, I mean, Auburn had a damn good defense last year, and he played very well. So when I go in the room 2 weeks ago, and the first guy I'm looking for in there is number 96, who's going to be a really good player for him. And then I'm looking for 47. And I asked the coaches, I said, where's 47? And he said, he's at LSU.
That's Malik Blockton.
That's him.
Yep.
And the boy had a big investment over there at Auburn. His brother played there. He followed his brother, played good. And now he's at LSU. I don't want to get into it too deep because 2 things. It'll bore you, and you'll be saying, boy, he is old.
I'll tell you this. You will never bore me, Coach Pete. I promise you that much.
It's just a different world, man. It's a different world. And it's not my world. I told somebody the other day, I think I ran out of coaching eligibility, or I think I ran out of coaching the need for me in 2023 when I came back to LSU. I think, it was probably two things. It was probably time for me to get out and everything out of college football. And and to be honest with you, sometimes I really, sometimes I miss it really, really bad. And sometimes I look at Donna and I say, I'm glad I'm not going through that. Because I have too many guys that I work with. Now, let me say this, man. The younger guys that I work with handle it better than I could. But it's gotten down to, it's kind of like free agency. I'd recruit guys to come to the Eagles that were free agents, and they call me and say, I'd love to come over there and play for you, but the Giants have offered me X more dollars. And, it was easier for me to understand in pro football than it is in college football. But it's just an old man that's set in his ways. And I truly believe today in the intrinsic values of the game for kids. I believe in it. And teamwork and unselfishness and giving, that is not what we promote with NIL. We promote selfishness and greed. And so, yeah, it's probably good that I ran out of eligibility at that time.
Well,
I can still fool around. And spend a week at places and things like that. But they probably wouldn't want to hire me because I probably lost some of my gusto.
I don't know, man. There's a reason your phone keeps ringing. You keep popping up at college and NFL places all over the country every single year. Coach Pete, I'm a little short on time, but I did want to get a thought on Coach Peoples.
Yeah,
I know that's a guy that you've worked a lot with, and when he got hired, you called me and told me what a great hire that was.
So excited about that.
Is it hard, Coach Pete, to go from coaching edge rushers to coaching inside?
It won't be for him. It won't be for him because he's done that. It won't be his first time either. Now he's been with the ends. He was with the ends out at Missouri, and he was with the ends since he came to LSU. But it won't, man. He has the knowledge. He has the knowledge. He has the temperament, and he'll do good because he's done it before. He was kind of trained as an inside guy. And everything. I started working with him, I think, in 2010, and I'm telling you, I'm really, he's one of my favorite guys. I'll be honest with you. I think he's such a really, really good person, but he's also an accomplished teacher, and I think he'll do really good for the Tigers. I really kind of felt like that's what would happen. I worked over at South Carolina 3 years, and Sterling was the outside backer coach over there. And when I had heard that they had hired him at LSU as a defensive line coach, I remember thinking, I don't know about that, And actually, I predicted that they would make that swap and move Kevin inside and move him outside. I really think they're both suited so much better for that. I don't know if you've met Sterling or not, but
I have not.
Really
not
nice guy. Yeah, he's a nice guy, and I liked him, over at South Carolina. But I thought really, as I look at him, I think, there's a little bit of personality difference in there. There's a little bit of there's need for some things inside that you don't need quite as bad as things outside. There's some things outside that you don't need quite as much as some things inside. But it's really when LSU had Bo inside and Kevin, how excited I was about that. Boy, sure. I mean, it didn't last me but 1 year, but I was like a proud papa. Boy, I was so happy because I knew, and I told Coach Kelly this. I said, you have hired two of as good at what they do as anybody in the United States of America. I don't care where they are or how much they're paying them or whatever. Those two guys are so accomplished at what they do. But Kevin's not going to have any problems. He's got the toughness to go in there and coach, and it's a little bit different world in there, and it's a little bit different on the outside. But I think it's the best. The way they have it arranged right now, I think is the best for LSU.
Coach Pete Jenkins, you're the best, Coach Pete. Always appreciate you for taking the time to visit with us. Thank you. We'll do it again soon, okay?
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
Be well. The one and only Pete Jenkins. We knock out a quick break. Chris Doering joins us next on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon. Get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. You know what to do. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. It's easy. Go to getgordon.com. 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 That's the website. You can always call 888-8888. 888-8888. If you go to the website, there's a little tab right at the top that says practice areas, and it'll let you know the types of cases that they handle. Maybe you've been in a car accident, or maybe you need truck accident attorneys. If it's personal injury, offshore, maritime, workers' comp, slip and falls, Social Security disability, nursing home neglect. There's so many different types of injury cases that Gordon and his team of attorneys handle. So log on to the website and start there at getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
I just got in my inbox updated odds for conference championships. We posted it up at louisianasports.net if you want to see it. And behind Georgia and Texas, LSU is lurking there to win the SEC with third best odds behind Georgia and Texas. A lot of people are bullish right now on Lane Kiffin's Tigers coming out of spring. I want to see how Chris Doering feels about it. SEC Network, former Florida Gator. CD, how are you, man?
Matty, I'm good, man. It's good to catch up with you, bro, especially this time of year.
Man, I always appreciate the time. Hey, are you coming out of spring? Are you buying LSU and Lane Kiffin as a contender in the league?
I mean, you better be, right? I mean, all the money that's been spent to get him to come to Baton Rouge, the assistance that the staff has been made up of, the money spent on the roster. Like PB and I talk about this a lot on our show. I don't think there's any doubt it's a pass or fail season. You either make it to the college football playoff or it's a failure. And I'm curious to see what the college football playoff committee does in looking at SEC resumes now that we've expanded to 9 conference games. You look at LSU's schedule, it's certainly very challenging. You got a quarterback coming off of an injury, not to mention into an all-new offense. And I think there's a lot of pressure and expectation, and you want that, but make no doubt about it. I think they are a contender and should be a contender.
Hey, I'm glad you brought up. I'm glad you brought up Leavitt coming off the injury. So let me tap into Chris Doering, former college and NFL wide receiver, here for a second. How big of a deal, CD, do you think it is? New quarterback, new system, to not have those reps in spring to work out timing with the receivers, because it's a whole new group there.
Well, one, let's talk about it from my perspective. I mean, the reps that you get during spring, that you get during the off season, now you get some OTA days thrown in there. Obviously, getting into camp, those things all matter. They add up, and not to mention, the camaraderie aspect of it all. And I know he's been out there. I've seen videos of him with some of the throwing drills, but I think it certainly matters that you're able to develop a rapport. Every quarterback is different from the receiver perspective, and every receiver runs routes just a little bit differently or likes the ball in certain areas a little differently. So I think there's a lot to be gained during the off season and a lot that's missed when you're not able to be out there. Secondly, I'll tell you from the perspective of being a Gator and what that did last year to DJ Lagway, not being able to be out there for the entirety of the off season. I mean, he looked like he was rusty all season long. Looked like he didn't really have any sort of rhythm with his receivers, and looked, kind of gun shy every time he dropped back to pass. So I'm more than ever believing that it is an important part of the development of not only a player, but the timing between a receiver and a quarterback and the team in general.
All right, Chris Doering's with us. So let me ask you then from a different perspective. So let's look at Ole Miss. All right, they've got their quarterback returning. Now they lose basically all of their top receivers, right?
Yeah.
Harrison, Stribling, Watkins. I mean, they're basically that room is going to be new. But the quarterback returns, but the head coach, the play caller, the whole offensive staff is all gone now in Baton Rouge. How big of a deal is that for Chambliss losing the maestro, so to speak?
You mentioned the most important aspect of it, and to me, it's not Lane Kiffin, Charlie Weiss Jr. I mean, this is the guy that was the play caller. He was the guy that was in his ear calling the plays. He's the confidant there. Man, I feel like it's a massive loss for not only the team but for Trinidad Chambliss. We'll see what they're able to do to keep things on the track. But I also think that's a really high bar to set, not only for the team after what they did last year, but for Trinidad Chambliss. Can he kind of catch lightning in a bottle again the way he did last year? And Pete Golding, I mean, you debut as the head coach, you win 2 playoff games. I mean, that's a pretty high bar to live up to. So I think there's if I were ranking expectations for next year, I would probably, the most pressure, like a pressure gauge, I'd say it'd be on LSU 1 and Ole Miss 2.
Interesting. Okay. Not Alabama?
I mean, Alabama's always going to be there, but I don't. They get a playoff win last year on the road at Oklahoma. You obviously have some battle at the quarterback position, and you got to figure out how to run the football. You got to figure out how to be more dominant on the offensive line. There's pressure there, but I don't think we're not talking about fan bases that are out of whack. If I'm looking from the outside perspective, I think it's LSU that's going to have a hard time living up to what everybody thinks they should do, and a close second is Ole Miss.
Chris Doering is our guest, SEC Network. Always good enough to hang out with us for a couple of minutes. Hey, coming out of spring, is there a team that, ear to ground as you talk to people around the league that maybe you're a little bullish on that's kind of been quiet around?
Yeah, call me a homer, but I think Florida's that team, man. I don't know how you've kind of perceived John Summerall and his acclamation to being the head coach at Florida. I love the guy, man. Honestly, dude, the more that I get a chance to be around him, the more that I get a chance to feel that infectious energy that he has, the more that I see what he did, in roster retention. You go back and look, man, Jaden Baugh, what he's able to do at the running back spot, Dallas Wilson, Vernell Brown, those 2 receivers, and how dynamic they are defensively. You get Miles Graham back, Jaden Woods. Like, there's a ton of talent that's back, not to mention 7 guys that got drafted into the NFL draft this last week or so. What an indictment that it was on the previous coaching staff to have all that talent and only win 4 ball games. I think the way that the players that he inherited have bought in, and what they've been able to do to sprinkle in some other talent through the portal. Anxious to see what happens in the quarterback spot with the Philo Jones battle. But I feel really good about what he's done in terms of the roster construction and the coaching staff that he's put together.
Yeah, I'd have been said it all through that process if it wasn't Kiffin. I mean, that was obviously for LSU's first target, but I'd have been awesome with LSU hiring John Summerall.
I think everybody was initially disappointed that Florida didn't get Lane Kiffin here. I actually think that there's a lot of Florida fans that think maybe it worked out the way that it was supposed to, both for LSU and for Florida.
We'll see. I mean, time tells with all these things, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, when they're undefeated, optimism abounds. So we'll see when they tee it up and kick it off.
How about a little over three years ago or so, I'm on your show. We're talking about how linked LSU and Florida are going to be for the hiring of Brian Kelly and Billy Napier in 2 different directions that they went, Napier being right under LSU's nose, and they get fired within 7 days of one another. So I'm not sure how we'll talk about this, but I'm sure it'll be another one of those things that is funny to look back on.
Interesting year in the league, man. So many, after no new coaches a year ago, all these new coaches this year will be fascinating when we get down to Tampa for media days to start to unpack it all. He's Chris Doering, SEC Network. Always good enough to hang for a couple of minutes. We appreciate it, CD. Be well, man.
Yeah, anytime, Matt. See you, bud.
All right, we'll see you in Tampa. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com if you're in the market for a new vehicle or might be. make sure you put Volkswagen on your list. I really want to stress this, especially as we near graduation time. Maybe you have that high school or college grad in your family. You want to get them started in the next phase, either sending them off to college or out into the real world with a brand new set of wheels. Make sure you go shop South Point Volkswagen because they're Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, so they got the best selection. And with Volkswagen, you get all the style, feel, performance of luxury without the cost. So they'll love the style and how fun they are to drive. You will love the safety features and the price. Just put Volkswagen on your list. Shop them today. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? It's been a really good show, fast-moving show. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Alvin Kamara was on Teron Armstead's podcast that dropped yesterday, dropped on Monday. And he talked about teaming with Travis Etienne. We're going to get to that in about 15 minutes after the top of the hour. Let me knock out a break, come back, USU Tigers and the Pros. It's AFR powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
AFR.
I know I've mentioned this to you before, but, when you go to Disney, they have perfected the customer experience when you go to Disney World. If a park employee, for example, if they see a child drop their ice cream cone, that park employee is supposed to go get a child a new ice cream cone. Nobody is allowed to have a bad time at Disney. Well, that customer service experience is sort of the beacon that drives Darren James every day. And you might think, and we're comparing a realtor to Disney. It doesn't matter what the business is. If your core principle is make sure your customer has an unbelievable customer service experience, you're going to thrive. It's a primary reason why Darren James, number 13 in the country on the Wall Street Journal's Real Trends list, the top realtors in America. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She says she's got a dream.
Wrapping up hour number 2, we are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Our friends over at Sunshine do want to offer a big, sincere, hearty shout out to all the kids over at LSU Ag who are graduating here this month. Good luck and congratulations from our friends at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Muso Tigers and the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
We'll begin with the NBA playoffs. Game number 1 of the Western Conference semifinals between the Timberwolves and the Spurs last night. Great basketball game. Naz Reid
should have stayed.
30 minutes off the bench for the victorious T-Wolves. 12 points, 9 rebounds. Really turned it up on the defensive end. It was a defensive slugfest. Wemby set a block record in the game as well. 5 of 8 for Naz from the floor, plus 15. T-Wolves got the win. Trendon Watford saw limited action in the game 1 of the East semis between the Sixers and the Knicks. 14 minutes, 5 points for Watford. Did grab a rebound and contribute an assist in that one. And, the Knicks just steamrolled yet another professional basketball team. They are buzz off right now. Right. Major League Baseball, Aaron Nola. Dominant performance last night against the division rival Marlins. Six shutout innings, scattered 5 hits, walked nobody, struck out 5, 94 pitches, 61 strikes. Win number 2 for Aaron Nola as the Phillies scored 1 run for him and won it 1-0.
Let's go.
Jaden Hill, 2/3 of an inning relief for the Rockies a night ago. Surrendered 1 hit, but then came around and punched out the next 2 hitters that he faced. 11 pitches, 8 strikes for Jaden Hill. Alex Bregman, 1 for 3 in the ballgame. Nope. No, you were doing so well.
Claiming him.
You can't do that. 1 for 3, a double, his 5th of the season. Also walked, came around to score in the ballgame as well, and the Cubbies got a close win. And then finally, Alex Lang, back on the Langer.
He is our guy.
Langer comes on all the time, man. Back on the bump for the hometown Royals. Shutout inning of relief. He got the 9th in a 6-2 victory. Just took 9 pitches, gave up a hit, but that was all. That's Tigers and the Pros.
Presented by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens. Patented non-toxic dry fogs. When I talk about it, remember, Veteran-owned business, Jim Woodworth, Air Force vet, awesome dude. Career in recovery, remediation. He was there post 9/11 with the recovery effort, helped with the BP oil spill here, and now every day helps homeowners and business owners get rid of mold and other harmful pathogens. Patented non-toxic dry fog. Patented. Nobody else can do it. Non-toxic, safe for your family, pets, plants. Dry fog. Dry. You don't have to worry about it ruining your furniture, your sheetrock, your carpet. It's a better, more efficient, more cost-effective way to get rid of mold and other harmful pathogens and odor. ParishRestoration.com, ParishRestoration.com. One more time, ParishRestoration.com. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us. Tiger Baseball back on the diamond tonight. Should have that lineup before we bid you adieu today. Jay Johnson did update injuries, as we mentioned. Unlikely you see Pearson or Stanfield tonight, so continue to see the young guys running out there for the Tigers with a big weekend ahead. We are going to talk to Jake Madison in about 35 minutes. Pell season's been over for a hot minute already. They still don't have a head coach. So what are they waiting on? There have been some names that have percolated out there. It's a good time to touch base with Jake, with the Pels coaching search continuing, some front office changes as we've seen. So we'll get to that here in about 35 minutes from right now. But it is After Further Review. We're going to knock out a break. SportsCenter's coming up. We'll get you caught up on national headlines. And when we come back, there's really two gigantic roster questions that remain for the Saints. What do you do with Alvin Kamara and Cameron Jordan? Two veteran, all-time great players. Well, Kamara was a guest on Teron Armstead's podcast on Monday, and he spoke about this for the first time. You'll hear what he said. We'll react to it next on AFR.
AFR.
Mother's Day is Sunday. Gentlemen, take care of mom. Ladies, take care of your mom as well. And if you're a mom, hopefully your husband and children will take great care of you. Listen, I got asked earlier today, we were doing a video over at Parish, what you love about your mom. And I said, well, because she loves me despite the fact that I'm a turd. And like when I was younger, she's 5'2", Mama Scone. I would take her glasses and put it on a ceiling fan or high cabinet where she couldn't reach it. Yes, I get it. I'm a bad person. But moms love us endlessly. And, my mom's sacrificed every comfort for her family. And your mom is probably wonderful and awesome just like mine. So celebrate all moms this Mother's Day. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Get them online or at any of their locations, 9 locations in all, and online at lmfj.com. lmfj.com.